A very good evening to all of you and welcome to Primetime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst team. I'm Azra San. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Azra. Very good evening to all our viewers. I'm Joel Outskun. We start off today with a look at the headlines.
Elections Commission meets party representatives. Signs of holding the presidential election on 15th of November. Sajith Premadasa informs party leadership to immediately nominate the presidential candidate. Requests to inquire the stance of the party if needed. Karu Jayasuriya says he has been invited to contest in presidential election. Harsha Silva says an agreement to nominate Karu Jayasuriya as a candidate has not been reached. A fundamental rights petition filed requesting for the decision taken to conduct the Alpite Pradesh Sabha elections be cancelled.
On to our late story now. The National Elections Commission today hinted on when the presidential election would likely take place.
Secretaries and representatives from accepted political parties were summoned to the National Elections Commission to discuss matters relating to future elections and propaganda campaigns.
It was said at a meeting the presidential election will most likely take place on the 15th of November. The National Elections Commission said the gazette on the presidential election would most likely be released in the coming week.
පුරවැසි භාවය තව රටක තියෙනවා නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඒ පුද්ගලයාට තර්ක කරන්න බෑ කියන එක කිව්වා. එහෙමයි ඉන්නවද? ඉන්නව නේද?
Section 212 clearly says even if a dual citizen is renounced, the person in question will be in the control of the US government. We will have to look into that.
කොහොමද කියන එක මීට පස්සේ තමයි බලන්න තියෙන්නේ.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා කියලා තියෙනවද?
අපි ලියුම දීලා තියෙනවා. තවමත් ඉතින් ප්‍රකාශ කරලා නැහැ. ඉතින් මේ තව වෙලා තියෙනවනේ.
අද මැතිවරණ කොමිසම ඉල්ලීමක් කරා තම හැම අපේක්ෂකයෙක්ගෙන්ම නුසුසුකම් ඇතුළත් වෙලා නැහැ කියලා දිවුරුම් ප්‍රකාශයක් දෙන්න කියලා.
ඒ කරු ජයසූරිය මත ප්‍රකාශිත කරලා තියෙනවා ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයෙක් වුණා නම් විධායක ජනාධිපතිවරයා අයින් කරන එක තමයි යගේ පළවෙනි ක්‍රමය කියන්නේ.
ඕක හැම එදාම කියන එකන්නේ ඔය මැතිවරණ කීයක ආවද? ඕක ඉතින් හැමෝගෙම අර මේ විදුරු ගහේ තෙල්ලනවා නේද ගිල්ලන කට්ටිය.
මැතිවරණේ නල්ලන් වුණත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂේ තාමත් ඔතුමාලට සහයෝග දෙන පාටක් නෑ වගේ.
බලන්න මන් දන්නේ අපි මට නම් අපිට සහයෝගය දෙනවා හැමතිස්සෙම. දැන් මෙතන රැස්වීමේදීත් අපිට හුඟක් සහයෝගය දුන්නා.
හොට්ටේ සලකුණ කොහොමද මොන වගේ වෙනස් කරන්න වෙයිද?
දැන් මෙහෙම කුළුණත් වෙනස් කරන්න.
එතකොට නෑ එතකොට නිදහස් පස්සේ සහය නෑ නේ එතකොට එහෙම වුණොත්.
බලමු
මහලිකවර කියන්නේ
අපි හැම එකම කතා කරමු. බුලත් කොලෙන් ඉල්ලනවා.
We prefer to contest from the betel leaf. It will be fair to reach a middle stance because of their displeasure to contest from the betel leaf, and that is our stance. We have lengthy discussions yesterday as well.
මම පක්ෂයේ මහලේකම්වරයා.
I am the General Secretary of the party. Whatever decision I make, the decision must be made according to the party constitution. All decisions will be made by the working committee.
ඉදිරියේදී කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයෙන් තමයි මේ හැම තීරණයක්ම ගන්න ලබන්නේ.
නියෝජ්‍ය නායකතුමා කියනවනේ එතුමා අපේක්ෂක දූරේ ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. ඇයි මේ ඔබතුමාලා මේ
අපි එතුමාත් ඕනේ අපිට ඒ වගේම අපිට හැම කෙනෙක්ම අපි මේ ඊළඟ ජයග්‍රහණය වෙනුවෙන් අපිට විශාල වැදගත්කමක් තියෙනවා.
On to news that made it to the headlines this evening. Now, 3 people from the Alpite filed a fundamental rights petition with the Supreme Court requesting for the decision taken to conduct the Alpite Pradesh Sabha elections be cancelled. Now, the request was for the election not to be held under the 2017 voter list. The petitioners pointed out on the 30th of August, the Supreme Court ordered to immediately hold the elections for the Alpite Pradesh Sabha, and as per the order, the measures were taken to call for the elections on the 11th of October. Now, the petitioners further pointed out the National Elections Commission had made the decision without convening the NEC and therefore stressed the gazette issued by the chairman of the National Elections Commission on the 2nd of September was against the law. On to more news, non-cabinet minister Dr. Harsha Silva said there is no agreement to put forward Karu Jayasuriya as the candidate for the presidential election.
There is no agreement. He or any other person had not directly informed the party in writing except for Deputy Leader Sajith Premadasa, who expressed his desire to contest the presidential election. A majority of the UNP MPs are with Deputy Leader Sajith Premadasa.
However, today, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya issued a statement signalling he intends to run for presidency, adding the Mahasangha and many intellectuals requested him to do so, citing several special reasons.
In his statement, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya said over the past few weeks, members of the clergy, representatives of civil society, academics, intellectuals, professionals, youth organizations and professional activists reached out to him and requested to contest as a candidate at the presidential election. The statement added, the common thread raised by all the stakeholders is they believe the country needs new leadership to strengthen democracy and progress towards an era of functional administration. Karu Jayasuriya went on to note that any prospect of accepting a nomination to contest as a presidential candidate would be conditioned upon the support of all forces united behind the critical objective of abolishing the executive presidency, which has been the objective since 1995. Jayasuriya went on to note that he would not accept such an offer out of a desire for the powers of the presidency and would only serve in office for such a limited period as is necessary to complete the constitutional reforms promised in order to lay the foundations for a secure, prosperous and advanced democracy. The statement adds that if he is to come forward as a candidate representing the alliance led by the United National Front, it must be in accordance with the party constitution and not without the blessings of all parties concerned.
The United National Party is a party which played a key role for Sri Lanka to gain independence from colonial rule. It even gave birth to the other main party when SWRD Bandaranayake left the UNP to form the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. In post-independent Sri Lanka, for decades, all those who led the UNP, except for one, were committed towards protecting the fundamentals of democracy within this massive political party, while in government and in the opposition. Unfortunately, this massive democratic party was brought down to its very knees by a single person, that is Ranil Wickremesinghe. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya is now the latest pawn used by Ranil Wickremesinghe. He is releasing statements to the media using the official letterhead of the Speaker, commenting on political matters which are not even relevant to the post of Speaker. The cat is now out of the bag. Let's remind ourselves of who Karu Jayasuriya is. It was Karu Jayasuriya who in 2007 dealt the UNP a death blow by breaking away and accepting posts from the Mahinda Rajapaksa government for his personal gain. Subsequently, he defected back to the UNP and secured his own political future, but left the dissidents who trusted him in the lurch. Karu Jayasuriya at this time became the chief dissenter against Ranil Wickremesinghe, but at the required time showed his chameleon-like ways again and even misled the Mahasangha to protect the status quo. UNP supporters will never forgive him for the treacherous role he played as the so-called chairman of the fake leadership council. His self-preservation ultimately further weakened the party, causing it to import two individuals to contest in two successive presidential elections, which the so-called party leader flat out. The Speaker, who speaks so much of the people, was taught a lesson by the people themselves when he was soundly defeated in his electorate of Gampaha and lost to Upeksha Swarnamali, known as Paba, a teledrama actress. Karu Jayasuriya has now taken upon himself the cause of abolishing the executive presidency, which he says is his only intention. However, his Machiavellian objectives are crystal clear to the general public. Where was he when the presidential powers were unscrupulously and underhandedly transferred to the Prime Minister in the guise of trimming executive presidential powers through the 19th Amendment? Did he protect the sanctity of Parliament and think about the sovereignty of our nation when he invited and tolerated select foreign delegations in Parliament at a very crucial and sensitive time? The Speaker's objectives are clear. He is a foil to Ranil Wickremesinghe's ply to ensure that Wickremesinghe remains the leader and the party is defeated at the next presidential election, as in this manner both their political futures are safe. UNP will be in the doldrums and may perhaps never recover. Ranil Wickremesinghe does not aspire to see a victory for the United National Party. The Speaker, who is nearing his 80th year, is working tirelessly to ensure that Ranil Wickremesinghe's comfortable life as opposition leader will be assured. He did not care about the party in 2007. He didn't care about the party on numerous other occasions and today is illegally using the hollowed office of the Speaker as he is once again working to promote himself and further destroy the UNP. If there ever was a classic example for a wolf in sheep's clothing, it is Karu Jayasuriya. It is truly despicable that a nearly 80-year-old politician who has lived a full life would be so greedy for power that he would opt to destroy an opportunity for the United National Party to return to its rightful place and usher in a democratic nation as a strong and vibrant party. Mr. Jayasuriya, if you truly are the Democrat you claim to be, listen to the voice of the people, the real people, the people of Sri Lanka, not your selected friends who represent nobody but themselves. Shame on you.
කරු ජයසූරිය මැතිතුමා
As I recall, Karu Jayasuriya in 2007 defected to the government of Mahinda Rajapaksa with 16 former MPs. He took them and sat down with the government at the time. He was appointed as the Minister of Internal Affairs at the time. Some of the MPs were given positions and some were not. He took away 16 MPs and placed the party in a very tough position. For some reason in 2008, maybe because Mahinda Rajapaksa did not fulfill a promise made to him, Karu Jayasuriya met with the party leader and expressed his desire to return to the United National Party. If he is contesting the polls, I have a right to do so and it is greater than his. I was engaged in politics with the United National Party when I was in law college in 1960. If a person is stepping up for leadership, he needs to have a clean political record.
නමුත් නායකත්වයට කෙනෙක් ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා නම් පිරිසිදු දේශපාලන වාර්තාවක් තියෙන පුද්ගලෙක් විය යුතුයි.
Now, reports of the Speaker signalling his intention to run for president was criticized in Parliament today.
මෙතන ස්වාධීන විය යුතුයි කතානායකතුමා එතුමාගෙන් අපිට ස්වාධීනත්වයක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න.
The Speaker must be an independent person. However, now we cannot expect anything from that nature from him. If he wishes to contest for the presidential election, he must step down and go work for it. In Parliament, we observed on many occasions that he acts in a biased manner. We object to such conduct. If he wishes to contest the presidential election, and he can do so and the people would decide. No matter what happens, Ranil Wickremesinghe wants to be the opposition leader and spend the rest of his life in Parliament. It's the truth, and the government is not operating for the needs of the people.
Leader of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, Hakim, speaking in Kurunegala, questioned whether Karu Jayasuriya can be accepted as a presidential election candidate.
We hope the United National Party will put forward a popular candidate for the presidential election. The final decision is yet to be reached. We hope the decision would be made in the coming weeks, and it is only thereafter we can reach a decision. Our decision will be made following talks with other parties. Yes, we held talks with him. The UNP leadership had asked him to show if he has the support of the other political parties, and therefore he held talks with us. We had open discussions on certain matters. We hope he would be made the presidential election candidate.
දක්වීමට වැඩි උනන්දුවක් තිබෙනවා. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ ජනප්‍රිය අපේක්ෂකෙක් පිළිබඳව කතා කරද්දී එතුමා කොයි වගේ තැනකද ඉන්නේ කියන එක පිළිබඳව පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබෙනවා. එතුමාට තමයි ජනප්‍රියතම අපේක්ෂකයා කියලා අපි හිතන්නේ.
The Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajith Premadasa, called for the UMP Working Committee and Parliamentary Group to meet and decide if there are others who wish to be named as the presidential election candidate.
Minister Sajith Premadasa convened a media briefing at the residence of Minister Mangala Samaraweera in Colombo this morning. The briefing was attended by Ministers Chandrani Bandara, Malik Samaravikrama, Kabir Hashim and Ranjit Madhuma Bandara.
Yeah, so if I may basically summarize the content of my letter, basically I expressed my own intentions to come forward, and if there are contra opinions and various other interested personnel who are keen on becoming the candidate, to follow the democratic procedures within the party to go ahead and make the selection. In other words, I requested that there be an immediate meeting of both the parliamentary group and the working committee. The meeting of both the group and the working committee, it can be a consensus building meeting. So if we arrive at a consensus, there is no necessity to do anything else or to resort to any other procedure. All I'm saying is let there be frank and transparent discussion within the working committee and the parliamentary group. Then all of us will be able to ascertain the plethora of opinions among the members of the working committee and the group. If there is consensus, so be it. But if there are diversity of opinions, you can adopt the greatest democratic principle and model, that is to have a democratic vote, secret ballot. තාම නැහැ.
අවද වගේ මේ කුට්ටාරිකාරු මණ්ඩලයේ ඡන්දය පාර්ශ්ව නිවිද තියෙන මේ අපේක්ෂකත්වය තීරණය කිරීම අවසානයක් අපිට දකින්න පුළුවන් වෙන මගේ අවංක විශ්වාසය එය කඩිනමින් ඉතා ඉක්මනින් පැවැත්විය යුතු රැස්වීමක් හැටියටයි මම
දකින්නේ.
Excuse me, please don't use the word crisis. This is not a crisis. The United National Party, as a democratic party today, has paved the way for anyone in the party to express their desire to become the presidential elections candidate. This is not a crisis, but in fact it is the strength of the Democratic Party. It has been officially communicated that he would be coming forward to contest. If there is anyone else who wishes to contest, they can announce their aspirations and the matter can be solved democratically. This is the strength of the United National Party.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ ශක්තිය මෙයි කියන එකයි අපි කියන්නේ.
එතකොට දැන් මේ අපේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්මයාට උදව් කරන සහ ඊට අනුගත වෙච්ච පිරිසට විනය පරීක්ෂණ පවත්වනවා කියන එක බොරුවක්ද?
ඕනම දේශපාලන වැඩසටහනක ඔය වගේ සුළු දේවල් සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඒව එච්චර ගණන් ගන්න ඕන දේවල් නෙවෙයි. ඔය විනය පරීක්ෂණ සහ තවත් දේවල් මං ඉල්ලීමක් කරන තමුන්නාන්සලා එච්චර ගානකට ගණන් ගන්න ඕන දේවල් නෙවෙයි.
සම්බන්ධ මහත්මයා සඳහන් කරලා තිබුණා ඔබතුමා ජනාධිපති වුණත් අගමැතිවරයා විදිහට රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ නැතුව වත් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒ පිළිබඳව ඔබතුමාට අදහසක් තියෙනවා?
අපි මේ කතා කරන්නේ
We are speaking about the presidential election. We are focused on the program aimed at the candidacy for the presidential election. We must hold talks about what would happen after the presidential elections. This is not an election for the post of Prime Minister. This is presidential election. Do not confuse the two.
අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමා පිළිබඳ ඡන්දයක් නෙවෙයි මේක තියෙන්නේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා පිළිබඳ ඡන්දයක්.
Journalists also questioned Sajid Premadasa on doing away with the executive presidency.
As far as the executive presidency is concerned, in 2015 we made a pledge and certain drastic steps have been taken to reduce the power of the presidency. Right now we are in the process of discussing, consulting and having initial discussions as to where the presidency should be placed, whether it should be maintained or whether it should be abolished. So I'm going to answer you very frankly, there has been no scientific survey done as to the prioritization of the maintenance of the presidency or its abolition. Everyone is coming up with their personal ideas and trying to place them at the highest position in the national political agenda. If I may say so, some of the surveys that I have seen, they are prioritizing cost of living as the most important and priority subject in the national political agenda.
Meena, can we move on?
My personal views are of no value. My views are based on people's views and opinions. I have no monopoly on articulating and formulating policy. That itself is a democratic process.
General Secretary of the United National Party, Minister Akil Viraj Karyawasam, says the UNP will contest the upcoming presidential election by forming a wide alliance. He added that a final agreement on this regard has also been reached.
Issuing a communique, UNP General Secretary says certain parties are attempting to make it look like there is a crisis within the UNP and the party is forming an alliance with regard to the presidential candidate of the party. The minister added the suitable candidate from the United National Party will be selected. He went on to note a candidate will be nominated in accordance with the constitution while respecting democracy and norms of the party.
Minister Monogamish, a leader of a party which allied itself with the United National Party, expressed the following comments on the delay in naming a presidential election candidate.
We spoke with the leadership of the UNP and the deputy leader as well. We spoke to the other leaders as well. We will no longer speak on this with the UNP leaders. I believe the leaders of the other parties share my stance. They would be wise to think because there is no point in talking. They must complete their task.
Leader of the United National Party and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe met with the TNA parliamentarians today.
All 14 TNA MPs, including its leader R. Sambandhan, were present for this meeting in the parliamentary complex. Reports claimed Ranil Wickremesinghe was accompanied by Minister Rajitha Senaratne. The UNP must decide on the presidential election candidate, then we must be informed about it. We need to know the decision taken on the issues. A committee was appointed to draft a new constitution and it must take place.
එතකොට සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතා ඉදිරිපත් කරන ඔබතුමාලා සහයෝගය දෙන්න කැමතිද කොහොමද ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් තියෙන ස්ථාවරය?
We will take a decision. After we are made aware on the decision taken on the issue in the country, the draft constitution and other decisions, we will decide on what measures we need to take.
The political parties which hope to form a coalition with the United National Party seeks a candidate who can win. Against such a backdrop, what are these discussions taking place between the TNA and Ranil Wickremesinghe? Though the TNA holds such discussions, over the years, they unconditionally appear to protect the positions and leadership of Ranil Wickremesinghe. When the report of the Bond Commission, which posed a serious disadvantage to Ranil Wickremesinghe, was presented to Parliament along with reports, the debate was postponed because MP M.A. Sumantiran raised an issue over the translations. Last year, when Ranil Wickremesinghe visited Jaffna with Minister Sagara Ratnayaka, the Prime Minister did not forget to make a visit to the residence of M.A. Sumantiran. When a political crisis took place in the country, this is how M.A. Sumantiran made attempts to protect the position of Ranil Wickremesinghe in Parliament. The TNA MPs boast they represent the Tamil community, but what service did they do for the people who elected them? Whenever Ranil Wickremesinghe's position was challenged, it was the TNA that came to his rescue. When the budget was challenged in Parliament, R. Sambandhan ordered his MPs to vote in favour of the budget despite being in the opposition.
Leader of the Tamil National Alliance, R. Sambandhan, is the person who deceived the Tamil people. When he was serving as the opposition leader, what did he do against the government? He protected Ranil Wickremesinghe. When there were moves against the government, however, I must ask him, what did he do for the Tamil people? The TNA is supporting all corrupt acts committed by Ranil Wickremesinghe. The Sambandhan-led group are engaging in such conducts for their personal objectives. A Colombo servant mansion was given to Sambandhan. In addition, a luxury vehicle, which is worth millions and not even awarded to other MPs, were given to him. To Sambandhan, I say this, your time is up. Therefore, do not engage in politics for your personal benefit by deceiving the Tamil community. Think about the community and think about the future of the Tamil community. You've reached your age. Hand over your leadership to the youth.
ඔබතුමාගේ නායකත්වය ලබා දෙන්න කියලා මම මේ වෙලාවේදී ඔබතුමාගෙන් කාරුණික ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
Three new parliamentarians representing the United People's Freedom Alliance took their oaths before the Deputy Speaker this afternoon.
The new UPFA MPs are Shant Bandara, Manoj Sirisena and D.B. Herath. D.B. Herath was appointed to fill the seat left vacant by the death of UPFA Kurunegala District MP Salinda Disanayaka, while Manoj Sirisena filled the seat left vacant by the death of Matara District MP Chandrasiri Gajadira. Shanta Bandara was sworn in as a Nationalist MP, the post from which he resigned from earlier.
Yesterday, Newsfirst reported on twin sisters from Hikkaduwa who were reported missing. Now today, our teams travelled to Fort Anpeta once more in search of clues which could possibly lead to their discovery.
Today, several people came forward to claim they saw the twin sisters close to the Fort railway station. However, they did not have evidence to prove their claims. Newsfirst then made contact with the three-wheeler driver who reportedly spoke to the girls. As there was CCTV in operation at the bus stand premises, Newsfirst visited the Police Motor Traffic Division and observed the CCTV footage. The footage contained several clues about the two girls. Several eyewitnesses have given information to Newsfirst and the parents. However, we decided not to publish the information as it cannot be verified.
Touching on some sports news now, officials at Sri Lanka Cricket were summoned to the Sports Ministry ahead of their appearance at COPE tomorrow.
When Newsfirst journalists were covering the event, this was the response given by Sri Lanka Cricket Secretary Mohan De Silva.
private meetings. Private meetings. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැමදාම අපිට මඩ ගහන එක නේ කරන්නේ ඉතින්. ඈ? පුළුවන් නම් හිරේ යරින්න කියන්නේ. අපි ලෑස්ති හිරේ යන්න.
It was revealed in COPE, exchange control laws were violated and foreign accounts were opened disregarding the decisions taken by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The people have not forgotten how the Secretary of Sri Lanka Cricket was left speechless during questioning after he admitted there was a foreign account in the name of Sri Lanka Cricket and MOUs was also signed. Information was also revealed regarding decisions taken to establish cricket universities and the funds allocated for this purpose. We wish to remind you, you could not respond properly when questioned about the financial irregularities said to have taken place through cricket aid. Likewise, you continue to maintain a silent policy with regard to the payments of commissions linked to the Nidahas Trophy tournament, which we reported 2 months ago. These statements can result in serious consequences. If any crime or fraud is committed, punishment is inevitable, and we will not back down from reporting them either. Are you hesitant because there is something to hide? If you had been wiser, pre-sessions prior to corporate proceedings would not have been required, and the sight of cameras and journalists would not infuriate you as well. If you had thought twice about imprisonment as a punishment, you would not have to respond in such a manner either.
The Sri Lanka Economic Summit 2019 commenced in Colombo today.
The two-day event is themed around recalibrating Sri Lanka's economic trajectory towards 2025 to guide Sri Lanka's journey towards development and prosperity. Today's event brought together over 450 local and international participants consisting of prominent business leaders, policymakers and experts who play a key role in shaping national development in their respective countries.
Economy stabilized. Of course, you blackguarded us for high interest rates, for money not being in the market. Actually, I took the blackguarding on behalf of the central bank. But it has worked. We have stabilized the economy in some way. So we had to take unpopular decisions. Government doesn't mean making popular decisions. Government means making unpopular decisions. You can't do everything in 5 years, but prepare the ground. There were the downsides to it. We had to do this. We were in an unhappy marriage, but nevertheless we were able to deliver results. That's the truth. So we've got to make a clean break. So we first start with continuing what we have done. We must have a fiscal policy that contains debt. We should not allow it to increase. There must be much larger space for investors. Our business climate has to improve. And we must have reforms to boost private investment and productivity. We are building on the Indian FTA. We are looking at FTAs with Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, China, our main trading partners, possible with Japan also. If the region, a comprehensive regional economic program partnership comes in, we should join that. This is where the money is. So let's go there. But it can't be free trade for everyone, but not for my business. Then you go into that famous Sri Lankan story, Andi Hatai Ambalam. No one gives anything, we only have the war. We must have a highly competitive economy. We have to join the global value chain. There's no other way out.
I believe that if they are to move forward, the state monopoly and the intervention must cease. That is the first and foremost condition for the success of this. And then we all talk about PPPs, public-private partnerships, but even those will not succeed as long as the government continue to hold the majority. In fact, Sri Lankan Airlines is one good example. As long as government wants to hold operational control, no self-respecting company in the world will come to invest in it. So as a government, I think in the next round, we have to take strong decisions, especially and even about banks. As we started talking about banks, I feel all these must have the spirit of the private sector introduced, and that is the only way to move forward and to achieve the objectives the government has set for the country.
However, in the past, experts held a different stance on signing free trade agreements.
This is a theory taught by rich countries to poor countries to get the poor countries to do what the rich countries want them to do. And then the theory tells us if you do that and we do what we are good at, we exchange our goods, we'll all benefit and grow rapidly and so on. This is garbage. I'm sorry, this is utter garbage. You know, you can't even waste 2 minutes debating it because it's so riddled with theoretical and empirical flaws, plus hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is that whenever it has suited the advanced countries, they don't liberalize trade in that area. Okay, so they simply protect their markets when it suits them. So they don't believe in free trade.
During another event, the Associate Professor of the Institute of Social Studies, Howard Nicholas, also made the following statement.
If I had any recommendation to make to Sri Lanka on this score, I would go back to development banking. You see, this is one of the worst things that was ever done in Sri Lanka, the privatization of the NDB and the DFCC. All the successful countries I mentioned had one policy and one policy only that was the absolute bedrock of everything they did, and that was development banking, state development banking. The thing they feared was state development banking, because that is the core. That's the core. Once you get state development banks, then you're in a totally different ballgame. You see, remember when they came in after the assassination of President Premadasa, the first thing the IMF asked for was privatization of DFCC and NDB. DFCC and NDB were the two most efficient banks in Sri Lanka. Why did they want them privatized? And after they finished with the privatization, did they go after Bank of Ceylon? No, they didn't. Did they go after any of the other banks? No, they didn't. They didn't go after the People's Bank. They were obvious candidates. Why did they go after DFCC and NDB? I don't blame the foreigners. I don't blame the Western countries. This is an economic war. Who do I blame? I say our people. If you forgive me for saying that, I blame our people.
Therefore, when statements are made, they need to be backed by solid facts. Hence, if one simply makes random utterances, is it not wise for some people to step down, as it would assist the nation as a whole to prosper?
Well, on that note, we wrap this edition of Primetime News. Thank you for stopping by.
Take care and good night.
Good night.